Good afternoon, traders. How are we doing today? I hope that you guys are doing fantastic. It has been a while since we've been live for a TrendSpider office hours session. Things have been busy around here, but it's good to be back. And obviously today it's a big day, right? We've got Tesla earnings after the bell coming up in, I don't know, it could be half an hour. It could be a little bit after the bell. If memory serves, sometimes they don't announce like right at the bell. Maybe you guys could refresh my memory in that regard. But for some reason, I feel like sometimes it takes a little bit for Tesla's numbers to come out. Good afternoon, Diego. Hello, Chris. Hello, D. Rushdi. It's great to see you guys. Thank you for being here. My name is Jason Krutzky. Before we get cracking today on some Tesla deep dive analysis, what's up, Sonia? It's been a minute. It's good to see you. We've got a killer deal going on right now. It's a tax time sale. And that sale closes in about, about 9 hours. So around midnight tonight. If you are not yet a TrendSpider trader, now is the time. Save up to 73% on a yearly account with us. It's tax time. Hopefully some of you guys got your refunds and you're looking for a way to put that money to good use. TrendSpider might just be the perfect thing to utilize. What's up, Emre? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. If anybody is here who is a new to TrendSpider, please say hello. Let me know. Maybe you signed up using this, or you signed up during the sale over the past couple of days. We did a webinar this Saturday. We had a little bit of a kerfuffle at the beginning of it, but everything else went smoothly after that. Maybe some of you guys tuned into that webinar and learned a bit about how you could utilize the platform to find stocks that are the potential next big movers in the market. If you missed it, it's on our YouTube page right now. You're welcome to go back and give that a once over at your earliest convenience. So what I was going to say was, before we get into digging into Tesla's price chart and all the different time frames and things and kind of what all TrendSpider's shown us, does anybody have any questions that they need addressed right now? What's up, Sanjay? Good to see you. If you're curious about anything, you want me to go over anything, need some help understanding how to do this or how to do that, hit me with those questions in the chat. That's what I'm here to do. The announcement is going to be the announcement. Price is going to do what it's going to do. But I'm here to hang out and kind of talk shop with you guys. Really what these office hour sessions are for. It's your opportunity to get, real-time live questions answered. So what I always do when it comes to earnings days, I always like to just dive in, look at all the time frames, see if there's anything interesting going on the chart, see if there's anything that the platform is kind of telling me about what I can expect. Maybe not even what I can expect, but just like, what is the state of this name right now? And to be completely honest with you, I don't follow Tesla too closely. So I'm kind of figuring it out a little bit on the fly here. I did a little bit of work in the beforehand, but so this is the monthly chart that we've got up. Is a 100-month moving average. You can see that it doesn't spend too much time down here near this thing. Last time it came anywhere near it, you had a nice bounce back in January of 2023. We are currently, as of the start, this year's open, we are currently trading down 42%. It's pretty gnarly drawdown, which got me thinking about, when was the last time that happened? And something kind of occurred to me. So this is Tesla delivery numbers chart. If you have not yet played around with the custom data upload feature, this is a brand new feature. We just announced this, or we just launched it. I believe it was last week. And what you can do is if you come up to your little icon up here and you go to upload custom data, you can load in CSV files, and those CSV files, as long as they contain a date and a value, you can then chart that date and value. So what this is, what we're looking at here, this is Tesla delivery numbers, quarter to quarter. And you can see this past January, or the most recent delivery number that we got from them was a huge decrease from the previous one. We're down to 387,000 deliveries from the previous number, which was closer to 500,000. And so that kind of got me thinking, like, well, when was the last time we had a big move like that? That was in March of 2022. So go back to March of 2022, and what do we see? Well, March closes, you have this huge reversal and this move lower, which brings you about 42%. So perhaps this is just in line with, you have that big change in delivery numbers, big reduction in delivery numbers, the stock sells off, and then perhaps maybe history will repeat and we'll find a bottom somewhere around in here where we're at right now. We will make a new low, and things will bounce a little bit for all the bulls out there. I don't know. Is there a way in TrendSpider? What is call to put ratio? There's not a way. Yeah, we cannot see the call to put ratio. We can look at unusual options, and I'll dig into that in just a little bit. There are unusual options over here on your widget. So I'm going to just add this to, actually, let me add this to a new column here. And we can see basically just kind of the distribution of unusual options, calls, inputs. You can filter this out. I don't know if you've played around with this at all, Ivan. You can filter this out by expiration date, by premium, and by strike. So generally what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of filter this quite a bit just to make it a little bit more tuned to kind of where the stock is trading right now. So cutting off the top end on the strike, cutting out maybe some of the bottom end on the strike. So like 110 to 190, somewhere thereabouts. And then I'm going to almost always increase the premium too. We'll put it at like $200,000 in premium per order, just to kind of see where the bigger money is. Unusual options start at $25,000. Any order above $25,000 in premium is considered an unusual option. And then I'm going to reduce the expiration date and kind of bring that quite in, maybe even just a couple of months out, June, July, something like that. So increase strike, or rather increase premium. I want to see kind of larger orders. I want to see more shorter time frame orders. I don't really care too much about stuff that's way out in the future. And then kind of cutting off both sides on the strike price. And definitely on the front end here, in the near term, all of the biggest unusual options orders are leaning towards puts. Now, this is the most recent 250 unusual options orders. So you got to keep that in mind. It's earnings date. There might be a lot of positioning going on today. I don't know. And so, you know, we could go and look and see kind of when these orders came in. We could do that utilizing the what's happening now tool. I won't get into that just yet, but we can get into it later if you want. Let's see here. Should you sell your Tesla position? Srinivasa, you can't ask me questions like that. I don't have the answer to that. You have to decide, friend. Asil, this is TrendSpider. Welcome. Glad you're here. If you have any questions about TrendSpider, hit me. Let me know. Does TrendSpider have session high, low automatically plotted with a line? So I would use, well, actually, you know what? I believe there is a custom indicator. Hold on one second. I'm going to reach out. One of my colleagues will know the answer to this. I've just reached out to him on that. I don't know right off the top, but I'll reach out to him, or I just reach out to him. If it's something that exists, I believe that will be a custom indicator. And so I might have to give you a link to it. Ivan. Yes, let's talk about that. I'm going to drop down to the weekly here. And if you type in order blocks, you've got a couple of different things here. You've got order blocks themselves, right? Coming into one right now. And then you've also got order block proximity. Now this is a custom indicator, but what this allows for, I'm not going to get into the details of this. I can, if you're interested in knowing more about this particular indicator, I can hook you up with a but But what this indicator allows you to do, it allows you to get alerted on things like price coming within range of an order block. It allows you to utilize order blocks, fair value gaps, and gaps in your strategy tester as well. So you can see like when price comes into a fair value gap, does it usually find support and reverse, and so on. Here we go. All right, Ivan, here you go, friend. This is a custom indicator. So actually, let's do this together. So I'm just going to log in and import this. So you just click that login and import button, say subscribe. I have not played around at all with this indicator, admittedly. So now might not be the time, but that is the indicator that you're looking for. How do you import new indicators? We just did it. There you go, Todd. You just saw it. Did that make sense? Pretty simple. All right, so moving on. Oh, let me get you, Ivan, let me get you a link. Hold on one sec. To the order block blog. Here you go, sir. So you can learn a bit more about those. All right, moving on, unless somebody has questions. Dharmesh, you're back testing using two strategies. One has wins 50, reward risk 2. The other has wins 44, reward risk 3.68. Which is better? That's a great question. I would probably be more interested in the one that has the 3.68. I would need to see them both. I mean, you know, the returns are important too, right? Like, what's the ultimate reality of the returns? How does the strategy perform? Win rate. The thing about win rate and risk to reward ratio is that generally what tends to be the case is as your win rate goes up, your risk to reward ratio goes down, right? So it's just kind of a balancing act. There isn't necessarily a specific ratio that's better than another as long as they're working together, as long as they're working in tandem with one another. That's really what's key there. But generally speaking, think about it, right? If your risk to reward is 3.68, that means that you have to win 1 in 3.68 trades to come out even, break even. Whereas your other one, you need to win literally half the time, right? Because you're risking 2 to make 1, or you're risking 1 to make 2. Max DD also tends to go up with higher risk to reward. Very, very possible. And max DD is a number that I like to pay close attention to. You want to be mindful of that, right? The whole reason why you're utilizing a strategy, a pre-built strategy, whether you're deploying it with a bot or you're just trading all the signals that come to you, the reason why you would be utilizing that is because you're kind of wanting to stick to it and not deviate from it. And if you have a giant drawdown, that might be kind of scary, right? That might kind of not feel very good. So you might want to check Dharmesh. Let me open up just a basic strategy really quick. I'll just pick something random. Doesn't really matter what it is. Because really I'm just wanting to show you one data point here. So you want to look at, where are we? The max drawdown of the strategy. So see how this max drawdown is negative 47.3, and then the asset max drawdown is negative 75. So what that's saying is that, you know, your biggest single drawdown on the asset alone is 75%. Your biggest drawdown in one single position is negative 47%. I think that is a little creepy for a strategy that I'm just deploying. I try to get this max drawdown number to below 20, below negative 20%. If I can, that's kind of the goal, somewhere in the low 20s, low negative 20s rather, because that's just a little bit more palatable to me than a 47% drawdown. Yeah, so the trailing stop limit will definitely help with that. There are they're not issues, but they're just realities of you might get in a position and then overnight something happens, and then the next day your position is not in a good place, right? Those are unavoidable things. What happens between close and open. But the trailing stop is absolutely one way to manage it for sure. Sure, Ivan, we can talk about heat map. Let's talk about heat map in the scope of the Tesla daily chart. How about that? Let me do some things here real quick. I don't know what we're gonna find here on the heat map for Tesla. So the first thing that you gotta know, let me just remove lines here so that we're just looking at the heat map. First thing you got to know, heat map is an auto analysis tool. Auto analysis tools are built off of what we call the truth and analysis timestamp. So your auto analysis tools include your auto fibs, your auto trends, right? And your heat maps. These are tools that you press a button and the platform does analysis for you. Easy peasy. But they're built off the truth and analysis timestamp, and that truth and analysis timestamp has to be manually updated. Why is that? Well, it's because we don't want to determine or we don't want to change your analysis, right? If you have a trend line or a heat map area or something like that that you're focused on and that you're utilizing as your risk off spot or your risk on spot or whatever, we don't want the platform to change that for you. We want you to change that when you're ready. So in order to update this truth and analysis timestamp, you need to click the refresh button. Anytime that you have an auto analysis tool turned on, you're going to see that truth timestamp. See, when I hover over mine, the last time that I updated mine, February 5th of this year. So it's been a minute since I've updated these tools. So I'm going to turn back the heat map. I'm going to refresh it. And you see how that truth line jumps to the current candle. And now I have a new set of heat maps here. So this is the horizontal heat maps. These are my personal favorite. If I'm going to use heat maps, I'm going to utilize this version. I think it's just the easiest to read, the cleanest. It's looking for places where there are a grouping of candles with essentially the same highs or same lows in that little cluster. So essentially like consolidation. It finds the consolidation, paints it out into the right. And notice that when it first paints it, it's a bright red color, and then over time it fades. So that fade is meant to represent the idea that over time these areas tend to lose their strength in terms of acting as support or resistance. If we switch this to a depth heat map, the depth heat map gives you essentially the path of least resistance. It utilizes a couple of different types of analysis, but that's what it's giving you. It's giving you the path of least resistance. Anywhere that's red, that's going to be an area of heavy resistance, like dark red. Anywhere that's light red, potential resistance. Anywhere that's black is where price can float freely without coming into support or resistance. So if we kind of zoom in here, looking out, the black area in the near term is down and to the right. So essentially what this is telling us is the path of least resistance for Tesla at this time is currently to continue lower. Doesn't mean it can't reverse and go higher, but as it tries to push higher, it's coming into more and more resistance. Notice how that red gradient gets darker, or rather brighter and brighter and brighter as you go higher and higher. So the higher you go, the more resistance, the more overhead resistance you got. Finally, the last one, the trends. And this is built off of our auto trends, right? Looks pretty familiar, doesn't it? Well, inside of auto trends, if you change quality to more lines, see how things start kind of taking a little bit more shape here. Notice where the heat maps are bright red, and you notice where you've got lots of trend lines as well. So the trends heat maps are built off of the auto trends tool. It's anywhere you've got a lot of trend lines, you're maybe touching the same pivot levels or things like that, you're going to get these bright red areas. Anywhere that's dull red, you just have like individual trend lines. Same idea is true though. The areas of red are going to act as potential level support resistance. Anywhere that's black, that's where price can float relatively freely. You see we've kind of broken down below some trend line stuff, trying to get back above it, finding a little bit of resistance here. Again, suggesting that the path of least resistance is lower. Doesn't mean it will go lower on this earnings announcement, just saying that's the path, the general path of least resistance. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's talk real quickly about seasonality. Another big feature on the platform. Folks seem to really love seasonality. There's a lot of alpha that can be derived from it. You can break this thing down in a couple of different ways: monthly, weekly, day of the week, hour of the day. So week of the year, day of the week, hour of the day. So you can imagine, you know, digging into a seasonality chart can help you understand what to expect from the performance of any particular stock historically. And the more data you have, kind of the more valid the seasonality is, right? Or the seasonality data that you're getting is. 10 years of data is one thing. 50 years of data is a whole different thing. But this is looking back as far as we can on Tesla. And April, you've got a 50% win rate for April. So 50% of the time over the past 14 years, April has been a green month for Tesla. 50% of the time it's been red. And then I have mean change turned on. That's this button right here, and that's this blue line. And so mean change in April, on average, 4.4%. So that in theory, you know, that's all of your, that's all of the mean changes for the past 14 years divided by 14. That's your average percentage gain in this case for the month of April. Now, just because your mean change is 4.4% on average for April doesn't mean you can't have an April where it doesn't do 4.4%, right? I think that's kind of the question that you're asking here. You said you need to understand seasonality better. How can monthly change, for example, 71% and mean change be negative? That's how. It just means that the months or the Aprils in which you had winning trades, essentially the winning months, the percentage returns for those Aprils were greater than the percentage returns, the negative percentage returns, or maybe the negative percentage returns for the months that were red. Hopefully that makes sense. The dotted line is just kind of a crosshair for where we're at right now. Can you please talk about... Oh, shoot. Hold up, y'all. My chat got disconnected. Darn. Well, we'll keep on keeping on. Hopefully chat will work itself out again. Can you please talk about seasonality tool? All right. So yeah, there are a handful of different ways that I think about using it. I usually start top down, right? I usually start on a bigger time frame. I want to see, kind of generally speaking, where are we right now in the longer term. So we're in April, 50% win rate. We just went over that. We know that June is really Tesla's best performing month across the board. It's green the most often, 77% of the time green, and with a mean change of 10.2%. Right? So to me, that's just telling me if I was looking for longs in Tesla, perhaps I can expect some serious strength in June. And then I can expect that as time goes on into the end of the summer, I need to be looking for that strength to kind of wane. So perhaps any June strength is an opportunity to be selling long positions that I acquired earlier in the month or earlier in the year. I like to go down to week of the year specifically just to see if I'm at or near any very, very weak weeks. I like to see things like this, and I find things like this relatively often too. Here, this 20th week of the year, we're a couple weeks out from it, so it looks like second, third week of May or so tends to be one of the weakest performing weeks of the year, and has the worst mean change or the lowest mean change of the year, and that's followed by what is one of the strongest weeks of the year with the highest mean change. And for some reason, I see this often where you'll have a really, really weak week followed pretty quickly by a very strong week, and vice versa. A really strong week followed pretty quickly by a really weak week. So might be looking at this week of the month, or rather of the year. This is, like I said, it's about 3 weeks from now. Might be looking for some weakness here to buy, to then try and maybe sell into in a couple of weeks, or a couple of weeks later. On the daily, oops. Ooh, we're 5 minutes from the close here, so I'm going to switch to the charts shortly. I might, It's a bummer that chat is not working properly. I kind of want to refresh the stream, but I don't know if I'm going to lose you guys, if they're going to boot me. Well, continuing on, I'm just going to stick with it here. Regarding day of the week, again, it's just kind of like you can find little pockets, right? Here we could see Monday tends to be the strongest day of the week for Tesla. Friday tends to be the weakest day of the week for Tesla. That would urge me, or that would get me thinking about like, well, what if I was trying to go long on Friday and then maybe sell Tuesday, to capture some of this Monday strength. I'm actually we are about to release a new technical analysis series video about this exact idea. So Hale, I'm going to leave it at that and say that there will be a video here very, very shortly about this topic. All right, hold on. Y'all, I'm going to take 1 second and see if I can get chat enabled again while I'm live. Hold on. I apologize, guys. This is very frustrating. Yeah, I'm going to, since I got to try. I'm going to refresh and see if this might boot me from my live. If it does, I will be right back. Let's see. Did it work? Are you guys here? Got 1 minute till the close here. Hey, it worked. Wow. All right. I did not expect that to work. Right on. Thank you guys. Appreciate you for sticking with me. I very much appreciate it. All right. So let's talk really quick here. Expectations. I don't know if you guys have played around with this at all. I'm sure you might be aware of what expectations are for this thing, but we've got this reports widget over here on the right-hand side. Ooh, I got alerts going off. This is from, it's an alert that we set during the webinar on Saturday. That's funny. You've got a expectation on revenues, 22.34 billion this quarter. And notably, that is the first downward revenue expectation in, gosh, many, many quarters, quite a few quarters. If we check out EPS, EPS expectation, 51 cents. Again, downward expectation. So, I don't know. What are you guys thinking? Are y'all thinking that, what are y'all thinking? What are your expectations for Tesla on this report? Yeah, you think so? XJet? A still short down to 125, Kumar? Chris is in Tesla Q. All right. So far, chat's pretty bearish. One thing that we could do is we could play around with the idea of testing this. How far is this thing down from the last earnings report? 33%, 33.5% in 60 days. I don't know. Let's just see. I've still got after hours data turned on, so we're still seeing live price. So I'm just in the strategy tester here, and I'm just saying price close. Less than close. Let's just say 60 candles ago. Or rather, let's say greater than. And let's just use time. Let's also say, I'm going to say earnings within, I don't know. Actually, we can just say earnings is today. And let's look at number of candles passed. I just want to see how many times this has happened in the past where it's been down 30% since the previous quarter. So it looks like 2 times. Looking 60 days out. 100% win rate. So generally, you do reverse higher. Looks like you had a move like this in 2016. We can highlight it. It's right here. Oops. Back in February 2016. And then you had the move in December of 2022 or January 2023. So the past two times, this only really happened twice in history where it's been down that much from one quarter to the next. And both times, 60 days later, you were higher. 155? All right. We know who's long? Tizzy. So definitely initial move higher. Let's see what the news is looking like here. Misses estimates, 45 cents versus the 51 cent estimate. Sales miss, 21.3 billion versus 22.15 billion. That's an interesting reality, isn't it? Up as much as 10% higher, 8.5% higher. And the after hours on a double miss. Do we think it reverses? It opens lower tomorrow? Or is it all just priced in? There is the additional component of we don't know what they're going to say on the call. They just released a new car, right? A performance. I was loosely reading about it a moment ago. Model 3 Performance. Nice, Tizzy. Well done. Great trade. But they got, yeah, that Model 3 Performance. Looks like $45K with a $7,500 credit. James, you read Elon's back in the saddle? Yeah, I mean, he fired what? 10 or 14,000 people. He had a couple of folks leave too. A couple of higher ups left. I think like 2 weeks ago, something like that. It's all about what he says in the call. He fired his marketing team, right? He's trimming the fat, is what it kind of seemed like he was doing, or what he was trying to do. There's a bunch of you guys here. Welcome to anybody who's new, who's here. Thank you for being here. If you have any questions, if you're curious about what's going on here, if you just popped in, you don't know anything about this live stream, we are representing TrendSpider here. We are a technical analysis platform, full service, everything you need to do all the technical analysis you might want to do. So if you have any questions about the platform, please hit me with them. Is the robo-taxi a thing? Is it really going to be a thing? What's up, Dwayne? Good to see you, brother. I don't know. These numbers aren't that good. Is it sold off? Has it sold off enough that all this is just priced in? I really don't know. Yes, sir. Diego misses. Double miss. Kay. Shout out Kay. Sign up last week. What's up? Welcome. Thank you for being with us. Do you have any questions about anything? Are you running into any, I don't know, any places where you're finding yourself getting stuck? If so, let me know. Happy to resolve any of that stuff. Faraz, we are watching the the market's reaction to Tesla's earnings. What's going on with you? I'm going to zoom out briefly here. Go back to the daily. One thing that I was looking at, I don't know about you guys. I'm always looking where we are in, like, kind of within the trend. And if you kind of like tune out all the noise of the individual candles, really what you got is you got here and you got there, right? At the end of the day, you kind of got this swing, and then we've just retraced all the way back to the 7.786 fib of this entire swing. First time we've tested it. Just took out the April 2023 lows. This is the previous yearly low that they lost a couple of days ago. So, I mean, this thing is pretty beat up. To bounce here, even on bad numbers, doesn't seem like too crazy. The tutorials help. Awesome, Kay. I'm very glad to hear that. Okay, just so you know, we do these as often as we can, these live sessions. And then also, we do have the support team. You can contact them pretty much every day, really every day, about 20 hours a day during the week and about 8 hours a day on the weekend. There's almost always somebody around that can answer a question for you. So do not hesitate to reach out to these guys. If you're ever curious about anything, you're having trouble getting caught up somewhere, hit them up, ask them a question. They're there to help you. So take advantage of them. Do you use order block indicators in the aftermarket? I tend not to personally trade after hours. Awesome, Todd. Welcome. Thank you so much for being a TrendSpider trader. We do very much appreciate it. Again, same goes to you. You know, anytime you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the team. Another thing that I think is worth checking out. So this is the volume by price drawing tool. And so same idea. Kind of want to see where all of your buyers and sellers are throughout this swing. And you can kind of see you've got your VWAP of this swing. You've got your gosh, I'm losing my mind here. Your VWAP and your point of control. Point of control. That's what I was having trouble remembering the name of. Right up in here. Right from this swing. This is where your average buyer owns the stock from this swing and where the most volume is from this swing. Notice how strong of a level of support it was when price got back to it pretty clean. And then when they fail it, again, they fail it. So if they are looking to bounce this, perhaps that 200 area, 193, 196 might be a level to keep an eye on since it was such an area of strong support previously. They left a nice fair value gap there as well for all of you ICT traders. Could be a pretty key spot. I'd be curious to know. Let's see where the 200-day is. No, it's nowhere close. We're going to skip that song. So now it all comes down to the call. And I'm not sure exactly when the call is. I do feel like the call, maybe it's the call that sometimes takes a little time to show up. So I'm thinking I'm going to wind this thing down. Does anybody have, there's a bunch of y'all here still. Does anybody have anything that they want to go over? Anything that they want to take a look at? Any analysis you guys want to do on any particular names? Any tools on the platform that you'd like to learn a little bit more about? I don't want to close this thing down if you got questions. Take a look at Amazon best clips. Made that new all-time high just before the market really kind of tanked. Pretty amazing. Todd, right on, man. Yeah, I mean, you've got a big fair value gap, right, on the weekly. If you have trouble seeing those, we got the fair value gap indicator. You might have to adjust the gap factor. Oh, still doesn't see it. That's okay. It'll see it once this candle closes. But there is always the chance that they could come back in and fill back up to 182. Might be looking for what they do when they get there. When does Amazon report? Let's see. Oh, Amazon tomorrow. No, next week. Sorry. Next week, the 30th. Probably no more then. Bill, I do not do this every day. Just on occasion. Sometimes a couple times a week, sometimes once a week. It just kind of depends. Since we're getting quite a few names here, I'm going to keep it very simple and just kind of look at a few quick things. Amazon, highest mean change historically is this month. That number drops pretty dramatically next month. You've got a pretty strong string of months here that we're getting towards the end of. And May tends to be not quite as strong. Something to think about, something to keep in the back of your mind. Look at T2. Doesn't look wildly different from Tesla a year and a half ago, huh? Let's look at seasonality real quick. April tends to be kind of weaker. May, strongest month of the year. Highest mean change and highest percentage win rate. Not a bad look on the seasonality side. When does this guy report? Reports May 13th. Expectation is a little bit lower on EPS and on revs. But seasonality suggests that May is the strongest month of the year. Best performing month of the year. Whether or not that will play out this year, hard to know. How much data is there? 27 years. Wow, okay. Pradeep, after hours, right here. This little clock icon. Really, anything below the daily, just click on the clock icon and you'll see it'll start printing. All right, Chris, take care, man. Good to see you. Meta, let's take a look at Meta. Generally pretty high win rate over the summer. Your mean change is going to go down next month, historically. But pretty decent win rate. This is a potential little tweezers top you got going on here on the monthly, though. We'll see how this thing closes, but this could be dicey. Looks like expectations are lower for EPS and slightly lower for revenue. This looks concerning, though. Mean change, the actual percentage change for the month from the previous month's close to the current month's close is mean change. So, you know, you have, in this particular case on Meta, you got 12 years worth of data, right? You take that change, that percentage change from the close in March to the close in April, and maybe this year it's 7%, and last year was 6%, and the year before that it was 12%, and the year before that it was negative 2%. You take all that, add it up, divide by the amount of years in the calculation, and you get your mean change, your average percentage change in price. Make sense? TSM? Ooh. Let's take a look at seasonality real quick. Seasonality kind of weaker into the summer, historically, for the old Taiwan semiconductor. Looks a little sticky up here. You're very, very welcome. Brayan, let's go over it really quickly because you know what? I haven't even played with it yet. So daily, or daily, monthly, weekly. There we go. Daily, monthly, weekly. All right. Let me do this. Just change these colors out real quick since I'm on a dark chart. Okay, so the way that it looks to me, your daily close, James, maybe you can confirm this for me, but it appears that the daily close is the previous day's close, right? Your pre-market high and pre-market low is exactly that. So this is pre-market high, pre-market low overlaid on your daily, or on your whatever current, on the current day. So this is yesterday's pre-market high, low. Yesterday's daily close right here. You've got your weekly, this week's, or rather last week's weekly close. And then you've got last month's monthly close. Does that make sense? So this is just meant to give you an idea of kind of where you are relative to the previous monthly close, the previous weekly close, the previous daily close, and the pre-market range. Are you trading above that stuff? Are you trading below that stuff? These can be important levels to keep a close eye on. Right? If you gain the monthly close, the previous monthly close, you might be getting into some exhaustion there. If you make a new weekly low, you might be getting into some exhaustion there. Kind of the idea, I believe. Sure thing, Brian. Brayan? Market breadth. So, a couple of different things with market breadth, actually, and we are about to release... we're about to release some new stuff with market breadth. But the market breadth tool can be found in other data, right here. And the idea behind market breadth is just to give you a understanding of what the heck is going on under the hood. With any particular name. What I will often do is I will have this set to like the NASDAQ 100. And then you want to know where what's going on within the NASDAQ 100? You can filter it by new 14-day highs, new 21-day highs, new 64-day highs, the percentage of stocks above their 200, above their 50, percentage of stocks making new 14-day low, 21-day low, 63-day low, and then you've got your net 52-week high low. So the way that I kind of think about this, like we're looking at NASDAQ 100 new 14-day lows. If this value is increasing, then more names are making new 14-day lows. The percentage is really what you're kind of watching here. As this value decreases, you're having a decrease in the amount of names making new 14-day lows. What might make this kind of make more sense for you if you're having trouble understanding it? Let me show you this. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to send you something. Just give me 1 second. I'm just doing a little searching here really quick. Okay, so I'm going to share this article with you. This is what we're going to launch, or what we're going to be announcing here soon about Market Breadth, but it is already available on the platform. So we could do like a little soft demo of it. So now you can utilize Market Breadth as symbols. And to me, it's a little bit easier to understand what's going on with Market Breadth by looking at it on the chart. So all of your Market Breadth options have a symbol associated with them, right? You would type it kind of like you would type an index chart with a dollar sign and then the symbol. So like H14 means 14-day highs. MA200 means percentage of stocks above their 200-day moving average. MA50, percentage of stocks above their 50-day moving average, and so on. L63, that's your 63-day low. And then you pair that with an index. So R2000 is Russell 2000. ENE would be like energy. SP 500 is the S&P 500. So if I just copy this. I'm going to turn all this stuff off. Generally, you're going to want to view this as a line chart because it's going to just make way more sense. I'm going to turn this off too. So this is percentage of stocks in the S&P 500 that are currently above their 50-day moving average. Right, so what you're looking for, in essence, is essentially you're looking for this line going up, right? You want to be bullish when the percentage of stocks above their 50-day moving average is increasing. You want to be bearish when it's below, when it's decreasing. And we actually found some kind of interesting stuff. I was playing around with this earlier. Let me show you. Oops. So this is something that I noticed earlier. This is the IWM chart at the top. This is the 14-day low in the Russell 2000, the percentage of stocks making 14-day lows. And I put a 50-day moving average on this. So by being able to script Market Breadth charts or symbols, by being able to put them on your chart, you can actually then apply indicators to them. You can utilize Market Breadth symbols anywhere you can utilize other symbols on the platform. So think your strategy tester, think your custom scripts. You can create alerts on Market Breadth conditions, those sorts of things. So this is something that I noticed here on the 14-day new lows Market Breadth symbol for the Russell 2000. Every time you get a cross down below the 50-day average, meaning you have less names than average making new 14-day lows, you get a reversal in the IWM. When it crosses back over that 50-day moving average, what happens? IWM reverses and sells off. And it's kind of pretty uncanny. Like it hits it pretty nicely. It's not perfect. It's not candle to candle perfect, but for the past, half a year, since October last year anyway, that's been kind of the trend here. So this is how I think to use it. I really like the on-chart version, the market breadth symbols, because now you can I see which names? John Bollinger, we got a legend in the house. Hello, sir. Great to see you. I don't believe I can see the individual names, unfortunately. Maybe that's something that can be custom scripted. I'm not sure. As far as the multiple time frames, yeah, like Dwayne said, not possible yet. One thought that I have about that, and it's only going to work in some scenarios, but you hear Brian Shannon talk a lot about utilizing different moving average lengths to essentially replicate time. No, John, it's all good, man. It's all good. It would be awesome to be able to see it. Hopefully that will happen, or hopefully that we can make that happen at some point. Tom Russo, when will Schwab's API be set? Man, that is a great question. Per my app, because I have a TD Ameritrade account, and per my app, it says the move to Schwab happens on May 12th. So I would be keen to kind of look after that date. Maybe something about their whole integration with TD, once that's completely behind them, maybe then it'll happen. Unfortunately, Tom, I do not have a cold hard answer for you, so I apologize about that. But what I was going to say about the multiple time frames within a strategy tester, if you're using, depending on what you're defining within it, if you're using anything that's a moving average, you can define different time frames with different lengths of the same moving average, right? So that might be something to try. Right, that 6.5 hours in a day, right? So you can multiply that out if you're using an hourly time frame. Just think about it in terms of your time frames, and you might be able to loosely kind of get there. Gamma moves are not here yet, but we are working on something to solve that. Yeah, James, that's correct. Let's see, I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything. Any other last minute questions from anybody? Mr. Bollinger? Tom? I really appreciate you guys spending some time with me this afternoon. It's been really fun hanging out, getting to talk a little shop. Again, we'll be back to doing this, soon. I can't give you an exact date. I'll probably come back live for the next big earnings announcement. We can take a look and see kind of what we got going here. I'm not sure what all is coming up. I know we got a lot of stuff. I know we got a lot of companies coming. We got BA, Cat, Google. Ooh, when's Google? Google on the 25th. American Airlines. Meta. Tomorrow. Ooh. Microsoft on the 25th. Oh, we might have to do another one of these here soon. Can you share how you can use indicators in the market scanner? You can now see the value of the indicator. What indicator, Dwayne? See the value of the, oh. So you're saying like, hold on one sec. Ah. Gosh, see, even I didn't know that. However, Dwayne, rescan. Let's do that. Ah, okay. See, even I'm learning things every single day. There's always something new available on the platform. Okay, so what Dwayne is talking about here, when you scan for indicator conditions, you can actually see the value of that indicator. So in this particular case, what I've done, I've scanned for RSI greater than 50. Over here on the three-dot drop-down menu, you can add columns to the data that you receive back when you run a scan. And so click on that and then come down here and select the indicator that you're utilizing. In this case, I'm utilizing RSI. So I've selected that, and then it gives me the RSI values as part of the data that I received back from this scan. And presumably I can filter then by all the names. So I've just filtered not just for what's greater than 50, but then from highest RSI reading down to lowest. I'm glad I'm not the only one that's learning as we go. So what we do it live, right? Awesome. Well, with that, I think I'm going to get out of here. It has been, like I said, a pleasure hanging out with you guys. Thank you all so much for being here. If you are not yet a TrendSpider trader, take advantage of this deal we got going on, the tax time deal. Up to 73%. You can get 73% off a yearly account with us right now. That's crazy. That's a crazy deal. Take advantage of it. We will be back again. We'll do this again. I'm not certain exactly what day, but we will do it again. So in order for you to know that we're doing it again, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That way you can get some alerts to be notified. And perhaps maybe James will send out another email and let you guys know as well. If you're not already, speaking of, hold on, before we go, let me give you this too. Y'all need this. Every single week we put out a newsletter, a kind of a all-inclusive newsletter that goes over all of the most important earnings, kind of all of the cool data that we're finding across the platform, all kinds of really cool information in here. And it's free. There's no reason not to sign up. So this is a link to that. Take advantage of it. Sign up for it. You will get free ideas and charts and all kinds of great information for the week ahead every single Sunday directly to your mailbox. All right, y'all. It has been a pleasure, as I've said. Take care of yourselves. Trade them well. Holler at me if you need me. Holler at the team if you need them. You can find them again. Contact us button. They are available for you. If you need me, at Krutzky Trades on Twitter. Happy to answer any questions. My DMs are always open. I will leave this for you. There's my Twitter handle. Hit me with them. Hit me with questions if you have them. Thank you all for being here. And we will see you all again very soon. All right. Take care.